Sometimes we get tired of playing super long games that demands a lot of side content and offering a very little engaging experience. This is why I have made a list of 10 amazing games that you can complete before bedtime and will have an outstanding immersive experience. All these games have different genres, which means that there is something for everyone here. I promise that you guys will have a satisfying gaming experience while diving into any of these games. So, without further ado, click that subscribe button and let's look at the first game on our list. Number 10, Resident Evil 3 Remake. This game is a prime choice to play if you want a decent amount of action and stealth combat. I know that out of all the remakes, this one is the least favorite. It will only take you maximum 4 hours to complete the entire game. Now, I really like this one mainly because it's more focused on action combat. Most of the other Resident Evil remakes are survival horror based. It's always nice to take a break and get into a compelling action shooting adventure with the third and fourth installment. There is not much of a storyline here. You play as Jill Valentine, making your way around the city and encountering Nemesis several times. The game lacks horror elements as it is quite short and just all-out guns blazing action. If I compare it with the Resident Evil 2 remake, then I would say that the game doesn't have a replay value. Don't get me wrong, but once you complete your first playthrough, you won't feel like playing it again.
Are the core values that create the foundation for Umbrella Corp.
The encounters with Nemesis are also kind of scripted, as sometimes it was obvious where he will be. This was not the case with Tyrant in RE2. Resident Evil 3 is more action-oriented and fast-paced. Now, there is something important that I want to mention about this game. I know that some of you must have spent 30 to 40 hours while playing the game on several difficulties. The remake is so much better than the original. They did remove some content, but also added something new. It all comes down to which game you play first. If you play the original, then you will surely appreciate the remake as well. However, if you played the Resident Evil 2 remake first, then you can take a break from all the running and hiding and dive into a more action-focused linear experience. Number 9, Sniper Elite 4. Now, I could have included the 5th installment in this list, but I have specifically chosen the 4th part as in my opinion, it is still an underrated game. Honestly, this was my introduction to the series, and I can confidently say that it exceeded my expectations. Sniper Elite is one of the best genres-defining series. Surely it will take you over 8 hours to complete the main storyline. However, the best thing about this series is the cinematic and X-ray cutscenes. Seriously, the satisfaction you get after firing a bullet and watching the trajectory to finally hit enemy's skull is next level. You will absolutely feel in love with the game. Now, the storyline is quite linear and level-based. You always get a prologue introduction before each mission where the game tells you some historical stuff related to the characters or the mission. From there, you are pretty much dropped in a location and tasked with killing the generals, sabotaging the alarms, finding and investigating clues, and much more. In case some of you guys think that from the gameplay Sniper Elite looks basic, then you couldn't be more wrong. There is a decent level of exploration combat and alternative killing methods. I personally love finding new ways to kill the enemies and choosing different stealth-focused paths. Sniper Elite's focus is on the stealth system. You basically need to find good spots to snipe the enemies. Also, you do have multiple weapons besides the sniper, like a handgun for quick killing. The game lets you freely upgrade your weapons and customize them. In the end, I will suggest going with the newest 5th installment if you think that the graphics are better in that game. There is no major chronological order. You can choose to play however you like. However, I will recommend that you guys make sure to play the 4th and the 5th installment of Sniper Elite. Number 8, Origami 2. This is a game that I recommend to everyone who is a fan of assassins and ninja games. Your whole purpose in this game is to clear the levels in a stealth manner. The game offers you a main character who has the power to control the shadows. So, you are basically like a ghost shinobi killing your enemies in a variety of stealthy ways. The first installment is also a good choice, but I wanted to mention the second one as it is more visually and graphically improved. There is no concept of chronological order, so you can start with either the first one or the second. There is no open world concept in this game. You would find Origami 2 to your liking if you love the ninja Ninja Gaiden and old Assassin's Creed games. You can do almost anything to make yourself stealthier, such as killing from rooftops, using knives and kunais, blending into environments. The game also showcases full-blown combat for players who do not prefer stealth. Origami 2 provides players with a variety of methods and even distinct passages for overcoming specific situations and obstacles. It is entirely up to you whether you want to kill the enemies and complete the mission stealthily or engage the guards in intense sword combat. The best thing about this game is the amount of content while being a linear game. There are a lot of levels and customization options. As you progress further into the storyline, you will unlock new powers and skills. So, Origami 2 contains all the elements from shinobi games in a Japanese world setting. I consider this game among the 10 best ninja games of all time. The game also provides a fine level of difficulty, means you may die a couple of times, and some enemies are going to be so much harder. This way, Origami 2 balances the gameplay and difficulty to give a sense of competition. Number 7. Kina Bridge of Spirits.
Both look very strong. Do you know who that spirit was with the horned mask?
We don't know, but when he shows up, the girl's poison grows stronger.
One of the most beautiful games of recent times. If only every AA game can be like Kina, then honestly, we will never need any other AAA games. It was a complete surprise for the players to receive such a game from a lesser-known studio. I personally think that the developers did a great job considering it was their first game ever. The blend of animation and art is just perfect. I still remember when I first saw the trailer of this game. I was completely mesmerized by the beauty of it. I also fell in love with it after playing the full game. The traversal, combat, and environment are genre-defined, but add a soothing touch of Pixar vibe. Also, the enemies are quite difficult even on normal difficulty setting. The combat requires you to be always on edge of your seat, as you can literally die several times in this game. The game's exploration is great, as every new item or location discovered provides rewards to the players, which can be contributed to unlocking new skills and cosmetics.
Hi.
The storyline is nothing short of impressive. It's always stunning to see the seamless transitions from cutscenes to gameplay. The concept of this game is about Kina, a young spirit guide who is trying to help the spirits in a corrupt land. All this becomes the next level, as the game is also available to play on PS5. Honestly, I know that from the first look, the game looks like an indie, kind of like Legend of Zelda and Immortals Rising, but in truth, Kina is an extremely polished and well-made game. I believe that we will be seeing a sequel real soon in the next 2 years. If you want something that's visually beautiful and has a decent storyline, then this game is for you. Kina is not entirely an open-world game. Think of it like a wide linear game with secrets and hidden locations to discover. Number 6. Vampyr. Whenever we talk about the best vampire-themed games, the only two names that comes on top are Vampyr and Bloodlines. It's amazing that we are getting a sequel of Bloodlines in the next half of 2024. However, I believe that some of us are still sleeping on this game. Vampyr also deserves a sequel for sure. Even though the game is lacking in terms of combat, some players may feel that the combat is sort of basic and lacks some skills or distinct attacks. Truth to be told, the overall combat of the game still blends in with the other features, providing a seamless, suspenseful, thrilling experience. Vampyr tells the story of a doctor who suddenly gets superpowers and then kind of gets into the mess between saving humanity by making good decisions and fulfilling his own bloodthirst. The game is set in a dark London after the events of Spanish flu epidemic. So, your job is to do a bunch of side quests by talking to other NPCs and solving mysteries while making sure that all the people in the city are safe and the hospitals or shelters have enough medical supplies. The game provides difficulties as you will be facing several other creatures or fellow vampires while battling with your own newfound powers. Vampyr perfectly combines all its features such as gameplay, graphics, storyline, soundtracks, and missions to provide an immersive gaming experience. The entire game still surprises me as how a mid-level studio made such an amazing game. The best thing about Vampyr is that your ethics and decisions will always get tested, as the game gives you choices between staying faithful to your doctor's oath and the thirst for blood. Every life saved or taken has ripple effects throughout the city, altering its balance of power and potentially unlocking new narrative branches and endings. Number 5. Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Just this last stretch to the top.
All right. Let's see what's up there.
Now, I could have included the first Tomb Raider, but the second installment is the best one from the series. I agree that this one will take a few hours extra, but the overall experience will be splendid. To this day, my ranking of best Tomb Raider always goes with number 1 being Rise of Tomb Raider, and number 2 the 2013's version, and finally Shadow of Tomb Raider. Low-key, if you have played the 2013 Tomb Raider and is confused whether you should give Rise a try, then my friend, I highly recommend that you should. There is so much more awesome stuff to do in this game. Exploration and cutscenes with overall graphics are much better in the second part. My personal favorite is the combat from this game, which felt super satisfying and highly improved than its prequel. Rise of the Tomb Raider will take you guys on a journey filled with snow-filled mountains, caves, temples, ruins, refugee camps, and even civilized places. It's easily the best Tomb Raider game ever. I don't know what happened, but this was when the series was at its peak in the newest sequels. Make sure to comment down your thoughts about Shadow of Tomb Raider.
What happened?
I was right, Jonah. Dad was right. The divine source is real. I wish he was here to see this.
Nevertheless, despite all the pros and cons, the second installment is easily the best choice for every Tomb Raider fan. Now about how you play these games and in which order. To be honest, I know that most of you will only play the recent 3 games from the franchise. So, you can start with the original order by playing 2013 first, and then Rise and finally Shadow. This way, you will be able to appreciate the improved features and will feel more immersive and connected with the game story.
Go back, Jonah! Get to shelter!
Number 4. Inside. The best indie game ever. Anything I say about Inside will always be less, as developers did an awesome job making this game. Literally anyone can play this game and can complete it in less than 4 hours. There are so many good things that I will discuss, but the major highlight is how the game provided such an immersive experience while being a shot double a game. Also, I don't want to spoil anything, so I will only talk about the things that you need to know before you can dive in and start playing the game. The reviews are fantastic with 10 out of 10 on Steam. We all know that different people have different opinions, and some players don't like some features of Inside, but it's sure that if you are a fan of platform games with a touch of puzzles, then you will surely have a blast while playing the game. The dark and spooky environments are enough to give you guys suspenseful and slightly horror vibes along with some jump scares. Honestly, this is by far the best short game I have played in a while. I love the twists, concepts, arts, multiple endings, and the sound effects. The simplistic art design takes the cake as it provides the players a good enough experience. Unlike some major games out there, Inside did a great job, and sometimes I even question myself that why can't there be more games like this? Now, another good thing is how much details are added in the NPCs, animals, monsters, and the main character. You can easily spot the hard work of developers whenever you interact with the surroundings. Nevertheless, just like some of you guys, I am also not a big fan of solving puzzles in video games. However, this game forced me to think outside the box and try to examine different stuff for solutions. There's nothing in this game that made me feel like I should quit it. Number 3. Titanfall 2.
Transferring controls to pilot.
One of the best FPS underrated games of all time, Titanfall 2 can be called a masterpiece because every feature of this game is excellent, whether it will be the storyline, the gameplay, the graphics, and even the weapons. The game is more refined and polished than its prequel. There are no glitches, and the graphics are way better than the first one. Also, Titanfall 2 is nothing like Call of Duty or Modern Warfare games. It's something different and new in its own way. The mechanics are smooth and fun, it's very fast-paced, and every kill feels rewarding. The main story is spectacular, unique, and emotional. The replay value as high as the multiplayer is one of the best I have ever seen. You can play the game all day, and will still find that each match is different. Cosmetics and weapons takes the cake, as Titanfall 2 offers a lot of variety in every aspect. The leveling up progression system is rewarding, giving you access to more weapons and tons of abilities for different playstyles. Along with this, both Pilot and Titan gameplay feel insanely satisfying, each containing their own benefits or pros and cons. Honestly, if anything that deserves to be called the best in this game, then it will be the Titanfall story. I admire the writing and how emotional it is towards the end. The bond between Jack and BT will never be forgotten. Titanfall deserves a third sequel. Take my word for it. Just start playing the game, and you will instantly get hooked and soon find yourself completing every mission or playing multiplayer for hours upon hours. The leveling up progression system is rewarding, giving you access to more weapons and tons of abilities for different playstyles. Number 2. Spec Ops: The Line.
The survivors out of the city. That was 6 months ago. Then, 2 weeks ago, we picked up this trip.
Another best underrated linear game in this list. Spec Ops is a forgotten game, and you probably won't even be able to find it anywhere on the internet. The game is a cut above everything else, and the story is so well driven with unpredictable endings. At first, the game may give a sense of squad teammates like in Tom Clancy games. However, as the story progresses, you will see much more awesome stuff and will instantly fall in love with the game. It's also amazing to see how impactful the little details are. Character development and dialogues makes the overall experience immersive as it takes the players into a vast reality of destruction, deaths, and war. One of the best highlights is how the game shocks the players because in the starting Spec Ops looks so much basic, then starts to change as you progress further, quickly turning into a full-blown masterpiece. In my opinion, the gameplay mechanics are quite normal or simple, just like other third-person shooting games with dynamic environmental aspects and quick-throw weapons. Sniper mechanics are the coolest ones. It is also worth noticing that the game provides various moments of alternate choices, and for the first time we have useful AI teammates, unlike the basic ones who only provides linear support. Nevertheless, the story and narrative are the two things that make Spec Ops a standalone masterpiece. It's a game that is getting more recognition years later than its original launch. The only fact that I regret is not playing the game sooner. It's a 10 out of 10 game for sure. Before I reveal my number 1 pick, here are some honorable mentions. Hi-Fi Rush.
Anyone see the guy that did this?
That's the defect!
What? No, I was just... Well,
Devil May Cry 5.
come on.
Hellblade's Sinuous Sacrifice.
It's over here. It's over here.
Is that? It's over there. No, it's here. There's 2.
Stray. Number 1. Sifu. This is a game that solely depends on your gaming skills. It can take you from 2 hours to 12 hours, depending on how fast you learn the mechanics of this game. Sifu is one of the finest action-focused martial arts game of all time. I remember how much fun I had while progressing through every level. There are a lot of best things about this game, such as how the game provides you distinct levels with distinct environments, each containing a new final boss. Now, the biggest feature Sifu has is its death mechanics. Apparently, when you die in this game, you get older, resulting in higher attack power, but will also die quickly. Despite all of this, you must complete the game in one playthrough. Means you must clear all the stages with minimal death as much as possible. Sifu takes the cake in terms of difficulty, giving the players an ultimate combination of action, martial arts, and difficulty for a sense of competitiveness. Honestly, it will take you guys a few hours before you can learn the gameplay mechanics in this game, so assume that you will be spending somewhere around 6 to 12 hours. Also, you can unlock shortcuts to save time and easily get to the final boss. The game never lets you feel bored, and sparks a competitive urge to get better and beat the game. The good thing is that even if you manage to clear any stage, you will soon realize that you need to complete it again without dying. Nevertheless, there aren't any downsides of this game in my opinion. It's a perfect, short, well-made game. The availability of environmental traps and objects to kill the enemies is a nice feature, kind of like sleeping dogs. Alright, this finishes our list of 10 amazing linear games that you can complete before bedtime. I know that some games may take a few hours extra, or you will need to play continuously. So, this is why I have chosen only the engaging ones that will keep you guys hooked to your console or PC. If I have missed any of your favorite games, then make sure to comment down below, because it is impossible to include every game in just a top 10 list. So, I will be more than happy to make another video by mentioning your favorite games. Also, if you have made it this far, then please subscribe as I am close to reaching 6,000 subscribers. Thank you, and see you later.